This is Homeschool 101, a collaboration between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Stay attentive and attempt all activities. And now, today's lesson.
Good day, I am Farrah Williams. I am a tourism lecturer at the Antigua State College. Today we're going to be looking at an introduction to tourism marketing. So the first thing we're going to do in today's lesson is look at two videos. These are two commercials of Antigua showcasing our beautiful island. And what I want you to do while you're watching the video is to pay attention to some similarities and some differences between the two videos. All right? So pay very close attention.
Sandals Grand Antigua was incredible.
The pool was as large as the ocean.
And the beach was perfect.
We're still raving about the service.
He loved the diving. He'd always wanted to try it.
Our suite was so exotic, it even had a pool.
We dined at 11 restaurants.
All included, just like everything else.
But what I remember most was falling in love all over again. Sandals Grand Antigua. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Tell me what you observed about the two videos. Okay, so if you said that the videos are showcasing Antigua, the first video looks at Antigua on a whole, Antigua as a destination, right? What can you do as a tourist while you're here? Okay, so the hashtag what cool looks like showcases exactly what tourists do when they are on island. All the fun activities from carnival to food, drink, festivals, music festivals, beach activities, rest and relaxation, massages. And the second video looks at a particular product, okay, a particular hotel or company or brand, Sandals. Okay, so both videos are showcasing Antigua, but the difference is one video, the first video, is looking at Antigua as a destination as a whole. So that video was produced by the Tourism Authority, and the role of the Tourism Authority is marketing the destination on a whole. So marketing Antigua and Barbuda's tourism product, okay? So if once their marketing, their role as the marketing organization is to promote Antigua to the various stakeholders, showcasing what we have to offer, what our tourism product is. Whereas Sandals is showcasing their product, which is an accommodation, couples only, and they're basically showing you the tourist, what you would get for as the ultimate tourist experience when you come to Sandals. Okay, so we're going to be looking at 3 objectives today. By the end of the presentation, you should be able to define tourism marketing. We're going to be discussing the importance of understanding tourism or tourist needs, wants, and expectations. And we're going to be differentiating between products and services. Okay? So first objective, defining tourism. So Lumsden defines tourism. Lumsden The first objective, we're going to be defining tourism. the first objective, we're going to be defining tourism marketing. Okay, and the Lumsden define. For the first objective, we're going to be defining tourism marketing. So Lumsden defines tourism marketing as the managerial process of anticipating, satisfying existing and potential visitor wants more effectively than the competitive suppliers or destination. So Lumsden defines tourism marketing as the managerial process of anticipating and satisfying existing and potential visitors' wants. So they're anticipating and they're satisfying present customers and potential customers, so the customers you already have and the customers that you may get in the future. You're anticipating their needs more effectively than your competition. So your competition can be either another tourism business or another destination. Okay? The long-term success of tourism destination, tourism products deals with the interaction between the tourism good or the tourism product, services, and the customer. Okay? It also means securing environmental and societal needs as well as core customer satisfaction. So no longer are businesses just providing a product, or we have a hotel, come and stay at our hotel and we don't care what happens to the environment. You have to care. Today you have customers who are environmentally conscious, they're very aware. So you as a business have to satisfy this need of your guests by showing that you're also environmentally conscious. Not only that, because tourism exists within the natural environment, preserving the environment is of importance to the business as well. So it's in their best interest to preserve the environment. Okay, so preserving the environment as well as satisfying the needs of the customers, because you do have to make a profit. Okay, and so they are no longer mutually exclusive. It's not, either or. And you reference back to the pillars of sustainability, which is your economic. When you look at sustainability, we look at the economic sustainability of a destination, socio-cultural, and the environmental sustainability of a destination. Okay, so all three pillars must be satisfied in order for tourism to be sustainable within the destination. Okay. So tourism marketing is targeted towards multiple audiences. So it's not only for the visitor, it's also for travel agencies, tour operators, airlines, cruise ship representatives, and other marketing representatives, and other. So tourism marketing is not only targeted to potential guests, present or potential guests, it's also targeted towards travel agencies, tour operators, airlines, cruise ship representatives, and other marketing representatives and investors. So if you're the government, if you're the tourism authority, you want to appeal, let's say you're looking to develop our tourism industry and you realize there is some space, you want to get into nature tourism, you want to get into wellness tourism, which is something the ministry has indicated, then you would appeal to investors to come into Antigua, develop a wellness program, wellness products, and in that case, you will be marketing to them. Okay, or if you're a tourism business, you'll be marketing directly to customers to come and patronize your product. So in many countries of the Caribbean, a statutory arm within the tourism ministry is responsible for marketing tourism. I would have mentioned that earlier. In the case of Antigua and Barbuda, that is the Tourism Authority. So their duty is to market the tourism product for Antigua and Barbuda. Right, so it is charged with marketing the destinations within the source market or the tourist generating region. That's something you would have learned in first year, Unit 1. So our source markets, or the source markets for majority of the Caribbean, is the USA, Canada, and the UK. And we will also have overseas offices in these source markets so that you are closer to the persons who you are targeting. You're closer to travel agencies. You can promote your product so that you can push. Travel agencies will then push the product, the Antigua product, and all the various tourism businesses, accommodations, attractions, and so on within the destinations. So travel agencies are very important in terms of reaching your target market. Okay. Other organizations such as the local hotels, tourist hotels, other organizations such as the local Hotels and Tourist Association. For Antigua, it's the Antigua Hotels and Tourist Association, the AHT. They generally have private sector membership, so other organizations such as the Antigua Tourist. So other organizations such as the local Hotels and Tourist Association. So in our case, in Antigua, we have the Antigua Hotels and Tourist Association, the AHT. They're responsible for their membership, which is the private sector, the various tourism businesses in Antigua, so accommodations, rentals, so other organizations that are also responsible for tourism. So other organizations that deal with tourism marketing would include the local Hotel and Tourist Association. So in the case of Antigua, that is the Antigua Hotels and Tourist Association, that generally has private sector membership. So all tourism businesses would make up their membership for that association. So they represent those businesses and they conduct marketing as well. They also work with the local tourist board, so the ministry and the tourism authority, in terms of marketing the tourism product on a whole. All right, so now that we understand what tourism marketing looks at, we're going to move on to objective 2, that looks at needs, wants, and expectations. Okay, so why is it important for marketers, tourism marketers, to understand consumer needs, their wants, and their expectations? Okay, so needs are states of felt deprivation. It looks at the physical needs of food, clothing, warmth, safety, social needs for belonging and affection, and individual needs for knowledge and self-expression. Okay, so why would a tourism marketer need to know about this? Why is it important for them to know what the needs of their consumers are? So if you're going to provide a product for a traveler, a visitor to your country, you need to know exactly what to offer them. Okay, so in the case of the tourism authority, if they're developing or in there developing our tourism product, you're going to say, okay, well, we want to get into tourism, or we're into tourism, we need more accommodations because people need somewhere to stay. Yes. What type of accommodation would depend on the type of customers that we're trying to attract. So 4-star, 5-star hotels, 3, 4, 5-star hotels. Okay, your need for food, so then we're gonna need some restaurants, right? The types of restaurants that we're gonna need, so they can have a look at the general tourism industry. Okay, we have mostly fine dining restaurants. Let's enhance the product a bit, and let's offer some more indigenous restaurants. Let's get some business to stimulate, well, they can't get the business to do anything, but they can stimulate businesses to open more indigenous restaurants. So maybe locals can get into producing or creating local indigenous restaurants that would enhance the tourism product. So that's from the standpoint of the government, because the government takes an overall approach. But from a business standpoint, because if you realize we're looking at it from both the government side and the business side. Okay, so on the business side, if you're a restaurant, right? Yes, you know you're in the business of providing food, but what type of food are you going to provide? Okay, warmth and safety. So you're an accommodation. So yes, the basic needs that you would have to satisfy for an accommodation is, yes, a clean, safe room for the guests to sleep. But then as you get higher in the expectations, the guests would want something a bit more luxurious, depending on the type of guest that you're targeting. Or if you're just overnighting, then you'd want a clean, safe space that is perhaps close to the airport, or that would provide basic necessities, so a little kitchenette. Okay, so depending on your target market, the persons who you're targeting, the persons who you want to sell your product to, would determine the type of or the needs of those target markets that you're providing would determine the type of product that you offer. Okay, some persons travel for knowledge and self-expression. So type of people who come to Antigua, do they travel for knowledge and self-expression? Yes, some of them do. Some of them want to experience our local culture. So they would visit Shirley's Heights and Nelson's Dockyard and Interpretation Center, and they would get a full history of Antigua and Barbuda. So knowing that about the segment or the target market that Antigua appeals to, the government can provide attractions or activities for those people. Okay? Wants, the form human needs take as they are shaped by culture and individual personality. Okay, so you already know what you need. So the basic needs are food, water, shelter. Okay, so depend on how your culture, depend on where you're from, depending on your personality, how would you satisfy that need? Okay, so your wants, you need food, but you want a specific type of food. Okay, so the example here is an American needs food, but they want a Big Mac, French fries, and a soft drink. For a local example, a person in Antigua needs food on the weekends, but what do we like to have on weekends? We want rice pudding, ma, with water and fungi, seasoned rice, barbecue chicken, or pigtails. Okay. So depending on your personality, if you're a vegetarian, then you would go by 1 stone. Okay. Or you would select something that's more health conscious. All right. So wants are shaped by society. Wants are shaped by one society and are described in terms of the object that will satisfy those wants, those needs, sorry. Okay. Expectations. The expectations are defined as the individual's belief about how a product is likely to perform in the future. Okay, and that was Oliver, 1987. So the individual's belief on how the product will perform in the future. Okay. A favorable preconceived image from the destination or activity will have a positive effect on a person's belief of a future experience at the destination. So basically, images that you see about the destination, what people are saying, friends, family are saying. Nowadays, everything is on social media. So you have a lot of blog sites, travel blogs, YouTube videos, vlogs. Persons are traveling, experiencing destinations, posting about it. So before you even visit the destination, the person is going to do their research and find out what are other person's experiences. And you are more than likely gonna take the word of someone who has been there. Okay? That's a real, true testimonial as to what the place is like. Antigua on a whole, or staying at a Sandals or a Carlisle Bay. Okay? So you knowing all of this beforehand, you're expecting to have a good experience, or you're expecting to have a bad experience. You're expecting to have fun. You're expecting warm, sandy beaches, because that is our reputation. That is how our product has been marketed. The beach is just the beginning. Okay. And that tagline itself has implications for other things that is happening within the destination of Antigua. The expectations are formed mainly through information provided by advertisements, commercials, brochures, mass media, friends, and relatives. So the images that we put out as marketers within our destination, I'm sure you've seen commercials of Antigua where they're showing, our lovely beaches. They're showing persons sailing, persons relaxing on the beach, showcasing the food, the people, which is something that always stands out about the destination. Travelers usually remember the people, how friendly we are, our beaches, the experience on a whole is what they remember. Okay. The larger the gap between expectation and performance, the greater the customer dissatisfaction. So if I expected it to be fun, it was really boring. There was no activity. All I did was go to the beach. They advertised that there were water sports, there were attractions, and then when I got there, the place was run down, disorganized, persons were unfriendly. Then the gap between the expectation and the performance of the destination or the product service is wide, the more dissatisfied the customer is. Okay, so this suggests that sellers should promise what their brands can deliver. So do not say, and that's false advertising. So don't say that you can do one thing, and then when the guest arrives, it's something different. Okay, and that has a large implication for your business, because now you have social media as soon as something happens, you blog about it. You take a picture, you take a video, you post it, and that can ruin your reputation, and then you have to do damage control. It is important for marketers to understand the needs, wants, and expectations in order for them to not only design the ultimate vacation, but to execute it. So you're not only designing, okay, we have a hotel, we're going to offer all these things, lovely rooms, but then how do you execute a full vacation? Are your staff well trained? Are they friendly? How is the atmosphere? So it's the whole experience. It's not only the product, and which we're going to get into just now, the services that you provide. The product alone, the standalone hotel cannot provide the experience. It's the services and the people, the workers, that pull everything together. Okay? So every customer has different wants and needs, but virtually all customers expect the following basic needs to be taken care of. So quality, you're spending your money, you want to make sure that you're getting quality for your money. Value, how do you value, let's say you're gonna go to a fine dining restaurant. How do you know that you got value for your money? Okay. Convenience and good service. Is it easy to get to? For convenience, is it easy to get to? Was it seamless? Did I have to stand in a very long line just to check in? Okay, right now you have self-check-in terminals at the airport. You have it at some hotels. For airlines, you can check in online. You can get your bag tags online, and you just drop off your bags at the airport to avoid all that line, that long standing. Okay, and all of that is to make sure that the experience is a pleasant one. Okay, no one likes lines. Everything is moving towards automation. Okay, everything is online or moving towards online. Well, at least for us in Antigua, we're still catching up, right? But that's where the world is and is progressing towards. Okay, and good service. Service with a smile, as they say. Okay, so your workers are very important. They must be well trained, they must be willing, have a positive attitude. Work environment must be conducive to produce or to allow persons to produce this quality product.
You're watching Homeschool 101.
All right, so we looked at the importance of needs, wants, and expectations. We understand that one. So now we're moving on to objective 3, which is differentiating between products and services. Okay, so the difference between a product and a service is that the tourism product is an action, event, or experience in which the tourist takes an active part. Okay, a service can be regarded as part of the product. Okay, so the product can be your hotel or your attraction or your tour. Okay, would be a product. Service, because the product itself cannot provide the full experience, as I would have said before. You need the service, so it's customer service, or it's a valet service, or it's dry cleaning, or something that you have to add to the product to bring it to the point where the customer is really satisfied. A product is tangible. Okay, service is intangible. For example, a tourist will purchase a drink at a bar. The drink itself is the product. The bartender mixes it quickly, is pleasant, and chats with the guests. That part of it is the service. And all of that makes up the experience. What was your experience like going to this bar? Is it that you made it, the drink was made and just handed to you, and the bartender did not chat with you? The environment was dark and dreary. The music wasn't lively. There was no sports showing if it was a sports bar, right? How can you have a sports bar and there are no sports showing on the TV, right? It's just news. Okay, so everything must tie in. So the product itself cannot stand alone. The product, as in the drink, cannot stand alone. Service that the bartender provides is what makes up the experience. All right, so these are some characteristics of tourism products and services. So intangibility, inseparability, variability, and perishability. Okay, so we're going to get into those now. Intangibility. No transfer of ownership of goods is involved in tourism. The product here cannot be seen or inspected before the purchase, as it is an experience. So whereas you can buy a product and ship it home, in the case of tourism, the tourism product, you cannot touch it. You have to experience it. Okay, it is an experience. You cannot touch an experience. Inseparability. A service is produced and consumed at the same time. A service exists only at the moment or during the period in which the person is engaged or immersed in the experience. So you have to be there to experience it. You cannot buy an experience. So that is why when they say the product, the service is produced and consumed at the same time. Variability. So services are highly variable because the quality of service depends on who provides it, where and when the service is provided. Okay, so you can go to one establishment that is of the same class, but the service will be different. And it could be based on a variety of factors, which could include, staff training, morale, the work environment on a whole, the resources that's available to work with, for the workers to work with, and even management styles. Okay? All these can affect the way service is provided. And perishability. So services and experiences cannot be stored. In contrast, goods may be held in a physical inventory. You can buy a can of soup and you can store it. Okay, so it can be held in a physical inventory at a warehouse or store until purchased, then used and stored at the person's home or place of work. A service is not sold when available. Sorry. So perishability, services and experience cannot be stored. In contrast, goods may be held in inventory in a warehouse or store until purchased, then used and stored at a person's home or workplace. If a service is not sold within the available, if a service is not sold when available, the revenue is lost. Okay, so it's highly perishable. Tourism products are highly perishable. If you do not sell airline seats today, when that plane takes off in an hour or 2 hours, the revenue from those empty seats would have been lost. You cannot get it back. Same concept applies to a hotel. Once you have empty beds, once that day has passed, that's it, the revenue is gone. So it would have perished. Okay, the opportunity to gain revenue from that empty plane seat or empty bed perished. Okay, so it's highly perishable. Okay, so we looked at defining tourism marketing. We looked at needs, wants, and expectations of customers, of tourists, understanding those needs, wants, and expectations. Why is it so important? And we said it's important because we need to know what those needs are. We need to study our tourists or our visitors, our target market, the people who we are designing these lovely vacations for. We need to know them so that we can better cater for their needs. By studying them, understanding what their needs are, understanding what they want and what they actually expect from a vacation package or from a destination, okay? And then in knowing them, we are able to tailor our products in a way that gives everyone who visits Antigua or visits an establishment complete satisfaction, okay? So that they can go on and spread the word and say, okay, my time in Antigua was wonderful. I had a great time. People were friendly, warm, quality service, quality products, and I would definitely recommend coming back to Antigua again, okay? And we looked at difference between products and services. So we were saying products are tangible, services are not. Tourism products are highly perishable, intangible, inseparable, and variable, okay? And in closing, I'm gonna leave you with 5 questions that you can answer on your own time. So what is tourism marketing? 1, 2, explain how understanding the needs, wants, and expectations of travelers help tourism marketers to design the ultimate experience. 3, highlight 1 difference between tourism products and services. 4, can tourism products and services be sold separately? And you are to justify your answer with an example. And 5, explain 4 characteristics of the tourism product and service. Okay, so thank you for spending your time with me, and happy studying.
You've been watching Homeschool 101, a partnership between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Thank you for viewing this lesson. Join us again next time.